All right, Matt. Well, we're back with another podcast. Very eventful week. Um, Pretty roller coaster sports day for me because, well, just the Dolphins game was ridiculous. But I'll have my moment. I know that. But we got a long one. I think it's going to be a long one. Big NFL games this weekend. Had the Heisman Trophy presentation, tons of college transfers, including a big one we'll get to later that involves Hawaii and Oregon. So lots of stuff to get to with that. The in-season tourney for the basketball or for the NBA concluded. I think that was a pretty big success. And the biggest news out of the week, at least for us, Shohei ended up signing with the team that we will talk about later. So lots to get to. I know you're disappointed about that one, but lots to get to this one. So let's just get it going straight off the jump. As usual, we start with our Cowboys, and what a victory. I mean, boat race the Eagles. It was not really too close. I mean, it got a little bit, you know, worrisome there in the start of that second half. But other than that, uh, pretty complete game, I would say, from the Cowboys, forcing turnovers, offense doing their thing. Dak, hard to say he's not the MVP right now, in my opinion. So the floor is yours. I'm sure you'll have a lot to gloat about. But yeah, go get into it.
This year I've tried to be very objective, very composed, not get caught up in the moment too much because that's kind of how Cowboy fans are. But I think today or this week deserves how about them Cowboys, don't you think? I
Oh, haven't heard
mean,
one of those in a
you
while.
haven't heard that in a while. I've been saving it for the right moment. And I feel like this is that moment. So, how about them Dallas Cowboys? They are back. They are back as a contender. What are the haters going to say now? We beat a team with a winning record who just happens to be the defending NFC champs. So, all you haters out there, what's your argument now? But we'll save that for later. Let's talk about the game itself. This was a game Dallas needed, not necessarily so much for playoff positioning, because I think regardless, win or lose, they would get into the playoffs. I still think it's an outside shot that they even end up winning the division just because of the schedule lineup. But you needed this more for your team psyche, your team morale, and confidence, because what has been the narrative for my team and even your team? You can't beat a team with a winning record. Oh, but they played Seattle last week. They had a winning record. Yeah, but it's Seattle. They're on a downfall. Okay. Well, we're playing the Eagles. How are they gonna, you know, lower this victory for us? Oh, they got blown out by the 49ers. But you know what? They're still the Eagles. They're still a top three team in the NFC. They are the defending NFC champions with a top five quarterback, a top five wide receiver. You got playmakers on the outside with Swift, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert comes back. They got a hellacious front, and you got names at corner. So, I mean, the talent is there. And Dallas came out and they punched them right in the mouth. And I thought what was so good was they got the ball and they went right down the field and punched it in for six. And that drive to me, I was like, okay, this is going to be a good day because of the way that first drive, they set the tone. Because not only did they go down the field, it was like they were just getting solid chunks every single play. And when they were in trouble, it was third down, but they were living third and two, third and one, right? That's where you want to be if you're in third down situations. And that opens up the whole playbook. Mike McCarthy called a great game. He was getting his guys in space. Cavante Turpin, he got a jet sweep, or not really a jet sweep, but a handoff in the backfield. He broke a big run. So just getting those guys involved. And I thought that really set the tone early. Dak in the first half was pretty unstoppable. I mean, 4 drives in the first half. We scored on all 4. I mean, that's how you set the tone. But really, this game, I expected Dallas to score points. They scored over 30 points. They always do this at home. The Eagles have been shaky on the secondary. So guys were getting their numbers, right? CD got the first touchdown. Jake Ferguson led our team in receiving. He has been outstanding this year. Michael Gallup actually had a welcome sign for once. Brandon Cooks, not a big game, but he had a couple big catches. Tony Pollard was good enough. So everybody was chipping in on the offense, but the defense was really the question. The Eagles, kind of a tough team to stop, right? They got the tush push, they got weapons on the offensive side, but how many touchdowns did they score on offense? I don't need any. I don't need any of my fingers to tell you that because they did not score any offensive touchdowns, which is absurd. I don't think anybody, including myself, would have thought that was going to be the case. But this game was all about our defense. They were outstanding, and I thought what was so important: 2 things. One, turnovers. With Dan Quinn as our coach, we lead the league in takeaways. No stranger to that. We don't get picks this game, but we forced 3 fumbles. And that to me shows physical. Dallas was more physical than Philadelphia. They were punching the ball out. They were containing Jalen Hurts in the run game. They stopped DeAndre Swift, and you make Jalen Hurts beat you in the pocket. And that's what they did, and he did not do it today. So that's kind of the formula. Everybody out there who's playing the Eagles, keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket, make him beat you on the outside. So you get your turnovers. But I thought the second thing that was really important is the red zone defense. Because Philadelphia, they were moving the ball. But against good teams with good offenses, you kind of got to live with that result. But it's all about red zone, right? Dallas, can you score in the red zone when you're on offense? That's been a struggle. They were 3 for 3 in the red zone this game. That'll work. Philadelphia, they had 2 drives in the first half. Actually, maybe 3. They didn't score a touchdown. You hold them to 2 field goals. That's the difference from them being right in the game at half, where it's, maybe 24-14, kind of close still, versus 24-6, kind of a blowout. And really, that was really kind of setting the tone, really, because you really separated yourself in that first half. And even with that, that Dak fumble, the strip sack, they score, they kind of get back in the game. But it was like, okay, they had that huge lead, so it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like this is bad. It was close to being bad, but you had that room for error because your defense was so stout that game, keeping them out of the red zone or out of the end zone. So that was great. I mean, offensively, they did enough. Defensively, I just mentioned it. But special teams came to play too. Automatic Aubrey or Butter Aubrey, as Dak Prescott says. The dude has not missed a field goal, and he set an NFL record for, I believe, he made 3 50-plus yard field goals in that game, which is insane. Definitely an upgrade from last year with Brett Maher, who could not make a lick, I think, at the end of the year. So that's a welcome sign to see. But gotta talk about, to me, the MVP of this game, Stephon Gilmore. The dude showed us why he won a Defensive Player of the Year. And A.J. Brown, we'll talk about him later in the show for another segment. But, they've been going at it the whole game before the game. AJ kind of has that diva mentality receiver, right? Likes to get in your face. But you don't do that. You don't do that to Stephon Gilmore, especially a veteran that knows the game, is not going to get rattled by, a physical receiver. And we saw it just last week. Seattle has DK Metcalf, kind of a same build receiver as AJ Brown. When they made that switch, taking off Bland, you put Gilly on Metcalf. He was pretty much contained. And same thing this week. AJ Brown, Gilly was literally that was the guy you got to stop. And AJ, he's good. He's gonna get his numbers, but didn't have the big explosive plays, the touchdowns, right? He had a couple of nice catches, but he's due. He's a good receiver. But Gilly, I mean, the play that he forced, that fumble on AJ, that sums up the game, right? Eagles, they catch and run, good in space. They're gonna move the ball. But Dallas, they're not gonna quit. They're more physical. They're gonna punch the ball out, and we force turnovers and we capitalize on those mistakes. So Stephon Gilmore, it was great to see. It kind of makes me sad because it's like, man, with Gilmore playing well today, Deron Bland's having a great year. I really just want to see the three duo or the triplets, I should say, at corner with Diggs, Gilmore, and Bland. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna re-sign Gilmore, but if I'm Jerry Jones, I want to see those three just once, just for one season. See those three in action. Oh my goodness, I cannot imagine an opposing offensive coordinator's nightmare right there, because they can match up against any receivers in the league. But this is what we needed. We destroyed our rival. Nothing is sweeter than beating the Eagles, especially for us, because Eagles fans were thrashing us a couple weeks ago. Well, mostly you, with your comments that you made about them
I
getting
wasn't
lucky.
even
But
bashing them that bad either. Just
well,
all
that's how Eagle fans are. They're
take it
sensitive.
so
They
personal, man.
cry. Exactly. Yeah, they take it so personal. They're a bunch of soft panties. That's what they are. From the top of the organization to their fans. Come after me if you want, but you guys are built like that, and we put you guys to bed. And as D-Law said, we're gonna keep stomping on your throats, and even when you quit, we're gonna make you quit even more. So that's what we did. We're the Dallas Cowboys. We're a top two team in the NFL right now. Yes, I did say that. We are a top two team in the NFL, but we have our greatest test ahead, because now we got to take that show on the road and we got to play top two teams in the AFC East. So if we can come out honestly with a split, being realistic, I'll take that, because that's going to build confidence going into the postseason, whether we're at home or away, because I think we're going to have to win on the road regardless. So we got that elusive, road victory. But it's going to be tough going ahead. But I also do want to shout out, before I get off the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. He was in surgery on Wednesday for his appendix. The dude comes out on Sunday, coaches a heck of a game. I want to give him my flowers, because Cowboy Nation, very hard on him, but he was a critical force in this win, because I think the way that he just showed guts. I mean, nobody would have complained if he didn't even coach this game. Like, the dude had surgery 2 days, like a couple days ago, and he's standing on the sideline. And there was a report saying, he could have coached from the press box, but he said no. He needs to be on the field because he needs to watch Dak, how he moves his feet, his eyes. And I was like, wow, that's impressive, because I never saw it that way. And for a coach to be basically saying, I'm all in, I think players and the staff feed off of that energy. So Mike McCarthy, heck of a job. Heck of a job. Continue the momentum. The play calling for the most part has been pretty good. Pretty good this season. So let's see what you can do on the road, because that's going to be our next test. Can we beat a good team on the road? But I'm excited. We're playing well at the right time. And I'm feeling a Super Bowl. Super Bowl bound. I'm getting those hype fans up, gotta hype everybody up for that parade, man, because I'm feeling it this year. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, Dallas definitely looks different this year. I will say, I know I've been hearing it a lot, but the eye test of the Cowboys this year compared to the past, several years, I would say there is something a little bit different. We've seen Cowboys teams win. before in the regular season, have good regular seasons. But this team, there is something, and especially after this last win, where it's like, okay, these aren't the same, just good Cowboys anymore. They can be great. So we'll give you props for that. And on the flip side, the Eagles kind of highlighted what I was saying about them, after
Called it.
that was it the I believe it
The
was the
Chiefs game.
The Chiefs game, right?
Yeah,
After
when
that
you went
Kansas City
viral.
victory. Yeah, viral. After that Kansas City victory, I said the Eagles, I don't think the Eagles are bad. That is not what I said, right? I said they're a good team, but they had some fortuitous calls or plays go their way. And they ran into two buzzsaws in the Niners and the Cowboys, kind of proving my point that there's something a little bit off about this offense this year. The defense isn't the same. I still like their front, but that back end has been struggling the past two games, and the stats don't lie. Just go look at the box score. That'll tell you everything you need to know. So, got to give the Cowboys credit, but yeah, the Eagles have a lot to figure out going into this final home stretch of games to, really solidify themselves going forward in the playoffs. And yeah, I will say I want to see Brandon Aubrey try a 65-yard field goal attempt, because it looks like the 60-yarder that he hit had ton of leg. I don't know where you found this guy. I don't know what he was even doing being a
He's
software
playing
engineer.
soccer, and he's coding.
But you know what? Yeah, that guy looks different, because the leg he has hitting from 60 with that much club still like in your bag is kind of ridiculous. So all in all, and I will say, yeah, Mike McCarthy, because even I in previous, years have been somewhat critical of him. But I must say the job he has done this year, he hasn't been getting enough credit, I would say, for the success of this team. So I'm glad you shouted him out. But yeah, I think the narrative as well on the whole Cooper Rush thing is kind of out the window this season, huh? Because I think Dak is the MVP. If I'm being honest, over Purdy, over anyone in the AFC. I think he right now is the favorite, or my favorite, to win MVP at this point. I think he should be it. So yeah, and please beat the Bills, because that'll help me so much. Next week, I'm cheering so hard for the Cowboys next
That's
week,
good.
Matt.
That's
So you
good.
have the
That's
fans'
good.
support,
Good.
okay? Because we're cheering against each other the following week. So next
That's
week,
understandable.
yeah, yeah. But next week, I'll be cheering hard for the Cowboys. Help us out a lot. Okay, so usually you do the ranting on the show, but I
Should
think
I
it's my
sit back
turn.
and relax and
You
just
can
give you the
sit back and
floor?
relax. You can chime in. Hey, feel free to chime in whenever you see fit. You know, this is a podcast. It's not just us talking each other, taking turns. So
It's also our therapy session because
it
sometimes you
is,
just
that is
need a
true.
vent, and
That is
most of the
true.
time it is me. So it's nice to see you kind of suffer a little bit
And
because it seems like I do most of the suffering on this
right.
show.
So, I'll preface this by saying the feeling that I felt after, Tua got sacked on fourth down to lose the game, it was a similar feeling I had only felt watching the Dodgers and the Lakers play. Like when they lose a game that they should have won or could have won in a, late stretch in the season. So I think that means I'm a Dolphins fan, by the way. Because I felt that pain, that like it was like disgust, pain. I don't even sick, like it was sick. I felt sick watching it. All negative emotions. So I've had a couple hours now to think about the game, and I decided, so I'll go into the game first, then I'll give, some of my comments, and then how I feel moving forward. Right. So I'll start with the game, and offensively, I will say it was rough. Like the stats aren't terrible. Tua pretty much 70% completions, no interceptions, had the fumble, but ended up scoring on the next drive because of the pick. 240 yards, not terrible. 158 yards on the ground. Thought our rushing game was really good and effective. But man, just from the start of the game, it felt cursed. I mean, we had three of our guys go down in seemed like the first 15 or 10 minutes of the game. So that already was going to be tough to overcome. We lost Connor Williams. We lose or Tyreek. Jayden gets banged up. It's like, what is going on? Mostert is limping around all game. And it's like, it just felt like one of those, oh, here we go, like the trap game, right? Which ended up being a trap game. In Miami, we're undefeated at home, 13 and a half point favorites. And our guys are starting to get hurt, right? And I hate to talk about it, but I don't think it's the reason we lost. But I need to say that officiating, I think, played a factor in this game as well. I'm not saying they're the reason, the game was won or lost, but I think there were some no calls and honestly going both ways that affected the game. And I want to I don't know how many times NFL fans have to keep asking for more consistent refereeing or just better. I think this one was just better. I don't know, would even say it was favoring one side necessarily, but a couple examples I want to get to, right? So Tyreek, the play he gets injured on, it's the hip drop tackle that all these players are talking about now because it's causing so many injuries. And sure enough, the guy grabs Tyreek from the back, rolls on his left ankle, and it's a horse collar. They say it on ESPN, they replay it. His hand is clearly on the back of Tyreek's pads and pulls him to the ground. No flag, and it ends up being an injury to one of the game's best players. Can't have it. Need to just have the officiating there, right? So that one happened. Another one I wanted to get to was there was a roughing the passer that Dan Orlovsky pointed out that wasn't called because there was pass interference on Cedric Wilson in the end zone. But Tua lets the ball go. Like 3 steps later, the D line ends up taking Tua out, going for his legs. Like he goes for his legs and takes him out. And they replayed it. The whole booth is like, oh yeah, how is that? What are they doing? They didn't call that. How are they not calling that roughing the passer? Like as blatant as you could possibly get. Not even a bang bang play. It was like throw, 2 seconds pass, and then the defender is diving at to his legs, takes him out from behind. No call, right? Another one I thought was a big play was DeAndre Hopkins' first long catch over Xavier Howard. They replay, the play again, and DeAndre Hopkins pulls Xavier Howard's arm down as he's going up for the ball. Like he's going up to make a play on the ball. His right arm gets pulled down, so he loses some momentum, and the ball goes sailing right over his fingertips into DeAndre Hopkins' hands. Another no call. They're right there, um, in the red zone. So it's like, where are the Can I just get some more consistency, please? And on the flip side, I wanted to say there was a Cedric Wilson catch that he had on the sideline. He didn't even get both feet down. That helped us though, right? He makes a toe tap catch on the sideline, but he only gets 1 foot down before the other foot goes out of bounds. And so it's like, what are we doing? On prime time, we're still having refereeing issues in what are we, week 15, 14?
This is 14.
Through 14 weeks now. So can we just clean it up, please? That's all I'm asking for. Because I mean, we'll get to the officiating later, but why does this keep happening? Like baseball implemented the challenges with the you can see the balls and the strikes and just something to clean up the officiating. That's all I want to see as a fan. And it obviously I'm gonna sound biased when it's going against my own team, but that's what I saw. and that's what the booth saw. So that's why those are the ones I pointed out because it wasn't even called out by me. So now that I got that out of the way, um, yeah, we lost. We had two of our starters down, Toronto Armstead, Robert Hunt, who are in Pro Bowl consideration. So we're down two of our best linemen. Connor Williams is having arguably an all pro year at center. I know you don't want to hear that, but that's just the facts. He's like top five, PFF grade wise. I think he was honestly number one, um, ranked as centers by Pro Football Focus. So he's having a great year. He goes down. You know, we lose Tyreek for more than half the game, and this offense is just all out of sorts. It just looked like Tool wasn't on the same page as some guys a couple times, missed a couple throws, and when we needed it, that third down play, to keep the sticks moving, couldn't get it. But more so, the red zone was where I was concerned. 2 for 5 in the red zone, can't have it. Um, just we need to, I think, be better about running the ball early, right? Like make the other team adjust. And I think Mike McDaniel, he learned from it because the two times we did score in the red zone were on runs. Oh my goodness, it worked. Like run the ball with Raheem, run it with Devon, and we have success because this offensive line cohesively seemed to be working better in the run game. So I didn't understand why early, a couple drives were pass in the red zone. Like at least you got to throw one run in there when you're inside the 10-yard line, right? So that's what I would like to see more on that. Um, we had a field goal blocked, can't have it. That's 3 points off the board, right? I mean, why are we still having special teams issues for our field goal unit? Bradley Chubb, huge mental mistake, right? We get off the field, it's fourth down, they have to kick a field goal. He takes off his helmet, slams it down because he didn't get the sack, right? He does it while he's still on the field, 15 yards. The drive continues, they end up getting 7. Like stuff like that, we can't have it, especially from our leaders, right? Bradley Chubb, he's one of our highest paid guys, can't have it from him. So we need to just clean all the mental mistakes up. Like frustration, yeah, it's gonna happen, but can't be doing it on the field where it's gonna cost us 15 yards and extend the drive for them. And then let's get to the end of the game because really that's what it comes down to, right? You text me, Titans suck.
I thought it was over.
It was. I think everyone thought it was over, right? I mean, two absolute boneheaded blunders by the Titans execution wise, right? Muff punt when it's already bouncing. We end up scoring
I
a
don't even know what
touchdown.
that guy was doing, honestly.
I don't know either, right? It's okay. We luck out there, right? Go up, score a touchdown. We're up 7. Oh, next possession, Will Levis, I don't know, messes up the toss to Derrick Henry, right? And, we go on and get 7 more. You thought, I'm sure most people thought, oh, that's the game. 4.5 minutes left, up 14 at home. The Titans offense, quite honestly, hadn't done a ton. They had a couple good drives, but, weren't playing consistent ball throughout the whole game. And so I, like most, thought the game was over. Lo and behold, the next drive, why are we letting the Titans wide receivers get out of bounds? You want to play prevent, whatever. Okay. You're up 2 scores. If you're up 1 score, I hate going prevent. But you're up 2 scores, 14 points, 4.5 minutes left. Okay. Make them burn clock, right? But you can't play prevent and let the receivers, running backs get out of bounds. They go, 75 yards, 1.5 minutes, no timeouts. Like the whole drive took 2 minutes, 75 yards without burning a timeout. That is inexcusable by the defense. Not one single timeout burned. Are you kidding me? Like we have to protect the sideline at least. If they're gonna take the chunk plays, okay, but at least tackle them in bounds. Keep everything inside boxed in. I don't know if that's on Fangio. I don't know if that's on the defense. Guys getting tired or lazy or just thinking the game's over. I don't know, but can't have it. Next possession, right? We need to we go get pretty much a first down and the game's over, right? Because they have to use up all their timeouts just to get the ball back. But we can't do it, right? We go run, run, stop, and then Tua has to go. We try to get throw for the first down, nothing's open. Tua has to go scramble. He doesn't get it, and we have a holding on the play, so it doesn't even matter if he got the first down; it would still come back. Like just terrible execution there on that drive, and then we let them score again. Like in 26 seconds, they go 64 yards on 4 plays. Like what are we doing? We couldn't get any pressure on Will Levis at the end. Um, you know,
Well, you guys had a busted coverage on that last
busted
drive when
coverage.
Hopkins won. That was a
Yeah.
busted coverage.
Yeah. Like how can that happen in a crucial time in that game? Right? Can't have it. With how good the defense had looked, for most of the night to just I don't know if they got tired because they were out there so long or they thought, oh, the game's won. We got this in the bag, guys. Um, I don't know. And that was just so tough to watch. Like I'm losing it as I'm watching it all unfold. But lo and behold,
So I
we
didn't
still
text you.
have, yeah, we still have, a minute 49 to go to get into field. We just need a field goal. Field goal wins the game, right? But uh, I mean, this is on Tua. This is on the offensive line. I think McDaniel a little bit with some of the play calling, but we just didn't have an answer to the shell, right? Like they were taking Tyreek and Jayden away, vertically over the top. We didn't get to see that bomb. There was one time when Achan got open on the sideline, Tua missed him. That would have been a huge play, but he overthrew him, right? And so another play, or I mean, just that whole series couldn't figure out how to get that first down at the end, right? We only need 2 yards. We can't come up with some kind of play to get us 2 yards there. I just see routes going down the field. Like I don't quite understand there what happened, but yeah, late game execution, offensively and defensively, terrible, right? I just honestly just bad. Um, it's just a gut wrenching loss, Matt. And
Yeah.
so that's the game, right? Um,
Well, before you get off the game part, I'm surprised I didn't think you bring this up, but on that, not the last drive, but the drive before when you guys are
right.
trying to kill the clock. Maybe it's just me, but I thought McDaniel was kind of conservative on that one.
Yeah, which is
Like
weird.
I think out of all times, like for the most part, I mean, you're the Dolphins guy, kind of a creative wizard, right? With his play calling, isn't that the time to kind of showcase, like, hey, we need a couple first downs, or really, you just need one. Honestly,
Yeah.
you get one, then you can run the ball, make them burn timeouts. You're good, but you can't go three and out. That's the one thing you cannot do. So I was surprised that you guys went run, run, pass. I would have thought they would have did or like a trick reverse or like a screen pass, something. I just thought the play calling was a little conservative
Even all night,
on
like
that
once
one.
Tyreek went out, we didn't see the motions. We didn't see like Tua's ball handling skills. And I don't know, but honestly, I think more in part, we didn't see a lot of that. Not because we didn't have Tyreek, because we were down 3 starters on the offensive line. Honestly, I think a lot of guys playing out of position, that was more so a concern of they don't, they're not in sync of where we're going and where they need to be. So I don't know. I'm curious to hear. I'm gonna listen to a lot of the post game interviews and the interviews tomorrow. When they come out of what Mike has to say. But my opinion is the three offensive line men missing and Connor going down, who has been so good for us this year, hurt us just as much as Tyreek going down. Because I think that
That's a
really
fair
did
statement.
affect, I really do think that affected a lot of the kind of stuff, that we could do because Tua had pressure all night. I mean, he was sacked 5 times in this game. He hadn't been sacked more than like 3 times. I think he was only sacked like 17 times the entire year. And he sacked 5 times tonight. And a lot more pressure in his face, that he had to scramble. I've never seen him scramble so much this whole year. But he was on the move a lot. He's trying to create, Tua gets the ball out faster than anyone. He's holding the ball. He has to get to his first, second, third reads. And, when our guys aren't quite getting open on the back end, plus our offensive line can't hold up in pass pro, like it's just going to cause a mess. And so I think that really did hinder Mike's play calling. But I am curious to hear what he has to say. But just watching that was kind of my takeaway on why we didn't see that creative guru genius play calling from Mike. So that's just
Yeah.
what I think.
But
Um,
even Mike on the offensive side and then Vangio on the defensive side on that last possession,
yeah,
I
that
think
drove me insane.
somebody, I don't know if it was Lewis Riddick or was it Lewis Riddick that was
Yeah,
calling the game? I think he pointed it out and he made a good point where on that last drive when D Hop had that big catch that kind of got the drive going, he said, if I'm Vic Vangio, why am I not having Jalen Ramsey shadow DeAndre Hopkins at this point in the game? I
yeah,
think, you know, I know Jalen, he likes to stay on his side. A lot of corners do. But, the Darrell Reeveses, right? Those lock Dion, those lockdown corners. Heck, even my guy, Gilmore. When a guy is struggling, hey, you just shadow that guy. You take him the whole game. And especially in a, you know, crucial drive, you need to stop. I don't know. If I'm Vic Fangio, I'm telling Jalen Ramsey, wherever Diop goes, you follow him the whole time.
it's a good point.
I think that's an adjustment that should be made because against any other team, right? D Hop, great receiver, but kind of past his prime. But you guys are gonna face, CD Lamb in the future, right? Stephon Diggs one more time. So there's weapons. You got to be able to take that away, I think, especially in the late game situations. And what better way to do it than to just put your best corner? That's why you get Jalen Ramsey. I think you got to use him properly.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think X he didn't look like himself, but he was another guy. He
He
went
was,
down. I
yeah, he
think he
wasn't.
went down like twice early. He didn't end up getting pulled from the game, but I think he did have to go into the medical tent for a little bit on the first drive. So I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna speculate. I don't want to speculate, but I know he was hurt. He did get hurt enough to where he had to come off, get examined, and I guess was good enough to go back in. But regardless, if he was hurt or not, he did struggle, tonight against DeAndre Hopkins and just in coverage in general. So that was a tough one to see. Um, but yeah, and I think that's enough about the game. Pretty much, I think I got all my checkpoints off about the game. So let me just say this to all the Dolphins fans out there, because I am now officially a Dolphins fan, right? So to all the Dolphins fans out there, not I don't have to address or I'm not trying to talk to the players or hope the players or coaches or anyone in the organization hears this. For the Dolphins fans out there, I just gotta say, you know, don't overreact to this game. Okay. I know it's hard because all week you're gonna hear this throughout the national media. And because I don't even need to say it. This is what they're gonna say. You know, Dolphins are frauds. They can't beat anyone, when it counts in December. When they take away Tyreek, Tyreek, is the MVP because when he's out, the offense looks terrible. Tua isn't clutch. Is he the guy? Maybe he's still not the guy. Tyreek makes him the MVP candidate that he is. Mike McDaniel, is it all just a gimmick? Can he actually win when it counts? Yada yada. You're gonna hear all that from First Take, from Undisputed. Cowherd, they're all gonna kill the Dolphins this week. I promise you. After this loss, at home. So listen to me, all right? Because I don't want you hearing that negative stuff. Was it a bad loss? Yes. Gut wrenching, heartbreaking, sickening, all of that. Yes. But I promise you, if you watch Hard Knocks, if you listen to the leaders on this team, Tua, Tyreek, Bradley Chubb, Christian Wilkins, even, Jalen Phillips before he went down, they understand that they're working towards a bigger goal. Okay. I think this team, honestly, is as cohesive of a unit as they've been in the past several years. I think Mike is going to tell them, we got to be better, obviously. And I think they will be. So, like, just think about it. Do you want to have a loss like this in early December or in the Bills game or in the playoffs, right? Do you want everything to go bad at the worst possible time when you don't have a chance to correct it? Or do you want the injuries, if they're going to happen, right, to happen now? And so we still have time. We still control our own destiny, right? I don't want to say it's, a good loss because I think it's a terrible loss. But with all the injuries that we had, with all the players we had missing going into the game, we were right there in it, and just two honestly terrible executed drives by both sides of the ball, and to lose. We're still second place in the AFC. Okay, we didn't drop to we're not even tied for second. We flat out have second place in the AFC. Right? Would have been nice to have overall first place. Yes, but we're still second place overall in the AFC. We have a 2-game lead over Buffalo in the AFC East, right? And we control our own destiny. The 4 games coming up, probably the toughest of the year, because the Jets are playing better with Zach Wilson now. We know how good the Cowboys are. We know the Ravens are the 1 seed, and we know how the Bills play the Dolphins. So it's going to be 4 tough games, but I think now we really get to see what this team is made of, right? You took 1 sucker punch from the Titans. How are you going to respond? Are you going to fold, go 0-4, and leave the season in someone else's hands, or are the Dolphins going to bounce back? And I think this is going to be the time. If we split, we go 2-2. I still think that gives us enough to win the division, but I think 3-1, would be ideal, obviously. But it's not over. That's all I want to say, right? Like it's tough. It's like this was a tough loss. The trap games are tough losses, especially at this point in the year. But I still think it happened early enough to where it's a good thing. So I'll leave it at that. Okay.
Feel better?
Yeah, I feel better. But
Gotta let it
okay,
out sometimes.
but you like I'm not crazy, right? You don't think I'm talking crazy, right? Like if you're gonna have a loss like this, wouldn't you rather have it now rather than in the Ravens game or in the Bills game, like going into the playoffs, and just have a complete disaster unfold? Like at least we still have 4 games to bounce back, and we still control our own destiny, right? You don't want say we lose a couple tight ones, and we're playing the Ravens or we're playing the Bills to get into the playoffs, and you have a 14-point lead with 3 minutes to go, and you collapse and lose the game, and your season's over, right? Me as a fan, I'd rather have this happen now than happen, later on.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
because
hoping.
you can always correct it. That's like
Yeah,
college football. It's better to lose early because you can
exactly,
got time to
exactly,
make it up.
right? So I still think there's time, um, because I truly think the Dolphins will be better from this loss. Right? I think it's going to fire them up even more. I think they were getting a little bit, not cruise control, but sneak past the Raiders, handled the Jets, handled the Commanders. Oh, we're so good. We're going to roll the Titans. Oh, wait, wait, wait. This is still the NFL. We still got to go out there and play every single game like the team can beat us. And so I think it's a good, like, all right, we need to take this, light the fire. It's embarrassing. Go be better from it moving forward down this home stretch. Last month, let's finish strong. I'm done. That was long, I know. but I'm done. Got it all out. Um, yeah, that was a lot. Okay, let's move on. Get off the NFL. Or I mean, not the NFL. These two games. Uh, Bills Chiefs. Let's get into that one because two heavyweights of the AFC, especially in the past several years. Both teams this year not quite the same, but the hype's still there. Tony Romo, I know he was super excited to watch Mahomes and Allen, probably his two favorite guys in the entire league. So it was a good back and forth and game, heavyweight, punches being thrown. But really, Matt, we just got to talk about the ending, right? Because
The
that's what it
one
comes down
play.
to. So I'm sure if you follow this pod, you probably watch football, which means you probably know what the play is. But for some context, we're talking about the Travis Kelce lateral to Kadarius Toney for a touchdown that was called back because of offensive offsides by Kadarius Toney. One of the rarer calls you'll see in the NFL, right, Matt? But let's get into that last play. I think we're on the same page here, but do you agree that, the flag should have been thrown in that situation? Because, Patrick Mahomes doesn't think so. He wants a warning. Andy Reid,
Oh,
he wanted a
please.
warning right after. But I think Andy Reid kind of, settled down a little bit after that. But both of them right after, oh, we usually get a warning, before a flag like that is thrown, or, at least get a chance to like, nah. They played it back, look at the picture, clearly offsides, not even aligned with the ball. He was like half a step in front of the ball. So the video came out. He like looked at the ref, looked back at the ball, never looked back with the ref to like double check that he was aligned properly. Just another, I mean, Kadarius Toney blunder costing them the game essentially, right? But yeah, I think we're on the same page. That was the right call, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think the Chiefs fans say, "Oh well, that's not fair." Yada yada yada. But aren't you taught as a receiver to always check with the refs on where you are? And it's like, oh, but the refs, they never called it before. But it's like, well, because your guy is not checking with him at all. Like they were showing clips of Tony. He wasn't checking. I don't even know if he checked once out of all the routes that he was running, all the times he's on the field. I don't even think he looked. So where the ref would be at fault was if Tony checks, he's like, yeah, I'm good. And then he throws a flag. Then you have a right to be upset because that's when he checked with the ref. And you have every right to be upset because the ref said you were good and you still throw a flag. I think that actually did happen with Terry McLaurin a couple years ago. He did check with the ref and he ended up getting flagged anyway. So that's a rare exception.
Yeah,
But
different situation.
yeah, but if you don't check with the ref, that's on you. Like you need to know where you are on the field. Like that's just a lack. That's a literally straight up. That's a lack of focus. That's just a straight lack of focus. Common sense. I think anybody that knows anything about football is an offsides. You got to be on your side of the ball. That's basic 101 football. So I don't want to hear, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid complaining about the refs. They're the last team that should be doing that, honestly. What are people going to say about the Super Bowl, huh? Patrick Mahomes was the one that was blatantly pointing at the ref. Like Bradbury was holding Juju. You better throw that flag. I don't know. That was kind of a questionable call. That could have gone either way. So why, when the call doesn't go your way, you guys turn into a bunch of crybabies? Shouldn't you guys look at yourselves in the mirror? You guys did score 17 points, and you guys are the Chiefs, right? This vaunted offense with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You scored 17 points. Your
In
defense
Kansas
held
City too, by the way.
at home. Yeah, at home. And you guys did that again with the Eagles. Maybe your frustration was with everything, right? The game before with the Valdez Scantling one. That one, yeah, I can see that. That's a PI.
Yeah.
But different game. It's a different game. But you shouldn't be complaining about the refs and for them being the reason that you lost the game when you scored 17 points. 17 points now. That just putting that into perspective for you. 17 points at home. Most of the time you're not going to win games like that.
Yeah, I
But I think the
agree.
refs got it right. They got it right.
I think the refs got it right too because like blatantly offsides, and quite frankly, it's a bad look for Patrick Mahomes. I think this is the first
Yeah.
time he like looks bad, honestly. Because he can say, "Oh, the refs usually give us a warning or whatever," but to me, that's almost indicating like they cut you some slack. Like
That's a
you're
good point.
literally admitting
Yeah.
that the refs cut you slack. Maybe that happens in all NFL games, right? What I don't know. But to me, you're gonna go out and argue something that was clearly a foul, and then go out and say, yeah, usually we get a warning, or usually we get some kind of notice, or they'll usually tell the receiver or something. And it's like, okay, so you're admitting that they don't even call it like, on you when you do mess up. So now you're mad that, like the guy was blatantly offsides. I don't know. It just didn't look good. And then, he's saying to Josh Allen after the game, right?
I
Like,
know, and they're
that was
friends
such a
too.
BS call, man. That was such a BS call. Like, blah, blah, blah. Just seemed a little whiny in that moment, right? Like, yeah, it sucks. All right. Take your chops, you know, yell at the ref, whatever, get it all out, but like, move on. Because, yeah, I don't think that one play, well, it's never one play that costs you the game, right? Like, that's what the golden rule kind of is. Like, play better all the other plays, right? Why can't you go score more than 17 points in the entire game? You needed this miracle play to happen. So I don't know. That's just my take. Maybe the refs, yeah, they should have given a warning or whatever, but hey, it was a blatant foul. The refs called it. I don't got a problem with it. Um,
But I think, well, more on the outlook of the Chiefs. They're only one game up in the division, which is kind of
mm-hmm,
insane. And I just think it's a bad look when your quarterback literally just goes ballistic on the sidelines, just loses his cool. Because that's the
mm-hmm.
one guy you do not want doing that to me. Like if Dak Prescott is doing that on the sidelines, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like that's such a bad look. It looks like just that kind of shows how the locker room vibe is, right? Kind of the composure of the team. It doesn't seem so, merry and bright in Kansas City right now. So I still think they'll win the division, but it's a lot closer than people expected. And it's going to be interesting because I think we'll finally get to see Patrick Mahomes play on the road in the playoffs. And
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be a different test. He hasn't experienced that. So Kansas City, I think, I don't know. They're still not out of the one seed, but I think it's a two-horse race with the Ravens and the Dolphins at
I
this
think
point.
so. But we're gonna need some help. But next week we'll talk about it. But I just want to point out real quick, the AFC looks like the West in the NBA from last year, right? Like the 3 seed to the 11 seed is separated by one game.
That's
Kind of
crazy.
ridiculous. We got 3 teams at 8-5, and we got 5 teams at 7-6. So the AFC still wide open, and the other teams are 5-8. So like, if you go from 3 to 15, it's only 3 games with 4 games to go. So anything can happen, man. It's gonna be chaos in the AFC, and I think after next week, it'll really shape out more on who's getting in. So maybe we'll get to that one next week, but uh last NFL game we want to get to here, the Rams and the Ravens. Man, I could have really used a win from the Rams. It was right there, but this one, I think you got to tip your cap to Mr. Lamar Jackson. Um, although he didn't get that overtime, drive going, I gotta say, down the stretch in the fourth quarter, that was like MVP esque Lamar making plays when it counted. in less than ideal conditions. You know, that hitting Zay Flowers and then the 2 point conversion, that was huge. I thought that was like clutch MVP Lamar stuff. Not what I want to see because we got to play him, but I got to tip my cap. And what a way to end it, huh? Like that walk off punt. Come on, like how can the Rams let that happen? That's all I want to say. Like, how are you gonna let a walk off punt happen? Yeah, there's probably a block in the back in there that wasn't called, but man, like someone got to make a play on special teams. Um, Other than that, I'm impressed that the Ravens, no Mark Andrews, couldn't really run the ball, but hey, they still found a way to get it done. I think not dark horse, but I'll say the X factor of this team is going to be Odell. I mean, he's kind of
He's
like
been
that.
balling out
He
lately.
has been balling, and I think he's going to be um, that piece that really puts them into that upper echelon of the AFC because 4 for 97 and a touchdown, yeah, that'll work. And the more and more he just gets back to the old Odell and him and Lamar just continue to build chemistry, it makes me a little nervous. That game, I want to see Jaylen on Odell, please. Let X take
How
Zay
many times
Flowers.
have they done that in practice?
I don't know, Matt. Yeah, let's go see that one unfold. So other than that,
But this
I still
one,
thought impressive game
yeah,
from the Rams though. Offensively, because the Ravens defense is good, but put up 31 on the road in Baltimore, and you're a dome team. Hey, that's a pretty good showing. I thought Matt Stafford played a pretty good game, but I mean, Kyron Williams, that guy is just a stud. I think, yeah, he's your fantasy guy. And I can't believe you're gonna win first place after the year I had. It's just criminal, honestly. I think the fact that I put up that many points in our league, I think I outscored you by like 300 or 400 points, but you're gonna end up winning first place, whatever. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Did you have anything on this game you wanted to touch
well,
on?
I think this game was all about Lamar. I think this is kind of what, well, as a fantasy owner of Lamar, I will say this is kind of what you want to see, right? The passing game was there, but he was also able to sprinkle in a little bit of his legs. He's obviously not going to run like how he was when he was a rookie, but hey, 70 yards rushing, that's that's what you want to see with Lamar using his legs. That's when he's at his best. Odell, I mean, he's stepped up ever since Mark Andrews has gone out, and you touched on it. I think he's going to be the X factor. And right now, I think they're the best team in the AFC, but time will tell because your team and the Ravens are on a collision course. And I think whoever wins that game probably is going to get the 1 seed, to be honest. So that's going to be a good game to watch. But you touched on it on a little bit. The Rams, I know they're 6-7, but call me crazy. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to sneak in as a wild card team. I think with Kyron Williams back, he's really turned into their alpha in the running back position. And I think with Cooper Cup, he comes back from his injury. He's kind of looked a little sluggish, but as he gets more comfortable, I think, and with Puka Nakua, obviously, they're learning how to play with each other. That's a dynamic duo. And Stafford keeps playing like this. Hey, they put up 31 against the Ravens. The Ravens have been a top 3 defense in this league. So I think this team, yeah, they lost, but the NFC wild card is, I would say, wide open. I would say with that last spot, even possibly Minnesota. Yeah, they're 1 game up, but their offense looks atrocious
I
right
don't believe
now.
in Minnesota. I'm out
So
on Minnesota,
you're
honestly.
really you got 2 wild card spots because the NFC East is going to get one of them. So you got 2 spots, and I think right now this team, they're the most dangerous. I think that's what's odd that they lost, but it's like I still think they're the most dangerous team that's still in that hunt. So the Rams, kind of take it as a moral victory in this one for me. That's my
Yeah.
dark horse playoff team, the
Okay.
Rams.
Yeah, I like that one. We'll talk about kind of the stretch run after next week, who we think's getting in. It'll be interesting. We'll probably talk about it every week until the playoffs, but yeah, we'll revisit that one. Other than that, that was a long NFL talk. I mean, a lot happened to both of our teams, so needed to get some celebration and frustration out, both of them in that segment. But let's take a quick break here. Still got a lot more sports to talk about when we come back, so stick around. Okay, so up and down pod for me. So I got the bad out of the way. Now let's get to the great. Uh,
The
we'll let
great,
I'll
not
let
even the
you
good.
it's great. I'll let you start off, Matt, because your team. Sorry, we're talking about baseball, by the way. But your team, the Yankees, you're repping them right now. You got some movement there. Pretty good stuff, I would say. Uh, if you're a Yankees fan, so they get Verdugo, which is kind of like an interesting. All right, that's a nice little kickoff. I think for the Yankees, a good move. He's still a solid player. I still don't get the Red Sox and Yankees doing so much business together with outfielders, but all right, whatever, so be it. But you get Verdugo, but then the pass and bomb comes in. Juan Soto, it was kind of, you know, all in the
Shocker.
cards, foreseen, but it's official. Soto and Trent Grisham go to New York for King, Thorpe, Brito, Vasquez, and Higashioka. Sad, probably a little bit sad to see him go there. But you get Juan Soto in return. You get the big bat that you were looking for, big lefty bat, I should say, that you were looking for. Still young, a lot of years left in him. So I'm sure you're feeling good. So give us your Yankees reaction to getting Juan Soto.
So I'm actually gonna go back with the Verdugo trade to start because that was the first one. So when that one was reported, I honestly was terrified. I was terrified in the sense because I'm thinking about how they're operating in previous years. My thought process, oh, they get Verdugo, it's a bargain deal. Oh, like we got Juan Soto in-house for cheaper. It's like we're done. We don't need another lefty bat. He's gonna play left field. I'm like, please no. He cannot be the prize free agent of the offseason. I think all Yankee fans would have rebelled, found Cashman's house, burned it down, buried him alive at the stake or something. Like, I don't know. That just like you cannot have that as your critical offseason move. Is it a nice piece? Yeah, absolutely. But that can't be your splash free agent signing that you go tell the world, we're the Yankees. We got Alex Verdugo. We're back. No, that's not how it operates in the Bronx. But, obviously the Soto trades unfolds. So you get Verdugo for, I believe it was Greg Weissert and a couple, lower tier prospects. That's you know, just looking at that trade itself for a 1 year guy, that's a bargain for me as a Yankee fan because there was a lot of talk saying, oh, Verdugo, is a piece that the Yankees like in left field. Boston needs a second baseman. Could they swap Glaber for Verdugo, like a straight swap? I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that because I think you can get, if you're going to trade Glaber, I think you can get more for that. And obviously, if you keep him, he's been hitting pretty well over the past couple of years. So a good bat to have, even though he's going to be a free agent next year. But to go from potentially giving up Glaber to giving up basically a garbage time reliever in Weissert and two mid-tier prospects, heck yeah. Give me that trade any day of the week. And Verdugo, he's obviously going to be a starter. So I like that. Contact bat, lefty. He's not afraid, obviously, of the Bronx. He's been in the rivalry. So he's familiar. Yankee fans don't like him, but now we got to cheer for him. Kind of a weird eerie feeling. It's like that Jacoby Ellsbury, vibe. Definitely not going to be as bad, I hope. But we get Verdugo. And then the big one drops, Juan Soto. Huge. That was the one that kind of kicked us off. Because I have been saying we need two guys on this team in free agency slash trade that would make this offseason complete. We're halfway there. We're halfway there. We got Soto. I think Cashman did a great job pulling the plug. I know he was hesitant to give up Michael King, but if that's going to be the difference maker with you getting Juan Soto, Michael King is a great pitcher. I think he's going to do well with the Padres. You guys are going to have to face him. He's pretty nasty, not going to lie, but he is not Juan Soto. Juan Soto, already at this age, he is probably a Hall of Famer, which is crazy. He's only 25, but he is that good, that impactful of a bat to have in your lineup, even if it's just 1 year. And I tell your brother this, and he agrees with me. Aaron Judge is 31. He's not getting any younger. Garrett Cole is 33. Those two guys need a World Series win. You cannot go in a rebuild and keep them on your roster. If you're going to go in a rebuild, get rid of them. Don't even bother. But if you have those two guys on your team, you are going all in every single year to get a chip until they're out of their prime, or yeah, that's basically it, until they're out of their prime. So you had to make that move for Soto. You get that lefty bat. Now he plugs in, I would think, at the 2 hole. Judge is going to protect him in the lineup. Now you have balance in the order. You got Soto, Verdugo. He can possibly bat leadoff. He can hit in the middle of the order, bottom of the order, whatever. He fills out your lineup. And sneaky piece, Trent Grisham. That's a solid acquisition. He's not going to be a starter, but he's a 2-time Gold Glove defender in center field. And I think that's going to be huge because they already said Aaron Judge is going to be the center fielder if the season were to start today. And I have no problem with him playing center field a little bit, but you cannot keep him out there every day. Got to keep him off his legs a little bit, stick him in right, DH him once in a while. That's why I say you can't sign a full-time DH. But, you got to be able to work around Aaron Judge's workload. And Trent Grisham is going to be that guy that kind of spells him. And I think he's going to fill in nicely until Jason Dominguez comes back. We expect him to come back 2/3, 3/4 of the way into the season. Hopefully, we're still in the playoff hunt at that time. But you get basically 3 lefty bats. That's a good start. So now we just got to get the big one. And now, it's a battle, I would think, between 3 teams for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I think it's just a bidding war at this point. And you're the Yankees. I don't care if you're going up against the Dodgers, the Mets, the big market teams. You outbid them because you're the freaking Yankees. That's the goal. We have to get Yamamoto. We've pushed all our chips in to get him. And you can fill out your roster with other pitchers there. Montas. I don't think Montgomery too expensive, but Montas is an option on a cheaper deal. So far the offseason has been pretty good. Pretty good. But I'm going to save that until possibly next week when my reaction will be either great or disappointed. Let's be honest. But you know what? We got Soto. That's a good start. We're back. We're kind of back to being the Yankees, hopefully. And then, your team comes in, tries to steal all the thunder. So,
Well, not tries, did steal all the thunder. I think that was one of the better ways I've been woken up in the morning. I was, sleeping in, enjoying some weekend rest, and Maddie taps me, like wakes me up. And it's weird because she usually doesn't wake me up, like if I'm just sleeping in or whatever. But she like wakes me up and just shows me her phone. So here I am like waking up like, huh? Oh, what's going on? And like she shows me her phone. It's like, like when you have that blurry morning vision and then comes into focus. So she like shows me And then I see this like Dodger blue. I'm like, okay, LA. And I look to see Shohei Ohtani, the verified check next to it, and start going, no way. Am I still dreaming? I honestly thought for a second, I'm like, am I still dreaming? Is this real? I grab the phone, I'm like looking at it, and I'm like straight from sleep into some of the best free agent news, actually the best free agent news I've heard. Trump's Freddie, Trump's the Mookie trade, whatever you could possibly think of, because mix of relief and excitement, I'll say. So the relief part being that we didn't get Corey, we didn't re-sign Corey Seager, let go of Trey Turner. A lot of these bigger piece guys, Scherzer had to go, all in the hopes of landing this guy, Mr. Otani. And for a while, it was getting scary because the day before, someone reported that he's going to
Morosi.
Toronto. Like what? Toronto? Like where did Toronto come from? And then Wade starts telling me, oh, but think about it, like, or I don't know who told me, but it's like he gets all of Canada. He
I
has all
told
of
you
Japan.
that.
Oh, you told me that. I'm like, gosh, I guess that makes sense, right? Like for his market, for his brand, really good. And I'm like, oh no, I'm just like sick to my stomach. I don't know how you felt, but can't be great. I don't think he felt great. Um, but yeah,
It's a
having
lose-lose for me either way, honestly.
yeah. So I mean, would you rather have him in your division though? Like you gotta see that guy all year. Uh,
Why
I don't
doesn't he go
know.
back to Japan? He can go play in Japan.
Well, anyway, so I'm free. I'm like sad and like oh, he's going to Toronto. Then all this stuff comes out because I don't see passing. I need to see Jeff tweet, right? That's kind of like we know the arson judge of last year. So I'm like, you know what? Let me wait. Because even it was Dodgers Nation that I saw it from. I was like, why is Dodgers Nation? You're telling me he's going to Toronto? Okay, I guess that's it because you, I would hope, would know. But they were blatantly wrong. I don't think they even acknowledged it. So I unfollowed them. Like, you're gonna be a Dodgers fan page. You're gonna say he's going to Toronto, it's over, and then the next day, oh yeah, we got him. Woo. Like, what the heck? Like, that's not gonna cut it with me. Um, but just that flipping 24 hours. So I don't see passing tweet, and then it comes out, oh, it's some entrepreneur, some other dude that was on the plane. Right. Instead, oh, was it Morosi comes out, apologizes, sorry, whatever, whatever. And then lo and behold, he ends up being a Dodger. Yeah, just great feeling overall to get him. I will be getting a jersey, don't worry. Maybe not now because I saw pre-orders are like 350. So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe not just yet. But new information that has come up today, which I think is huge for the Dodgers, is that out of his 700 million, yes, 10-year, $700 million contract, 680 of that, 680 million, I should say, is getting deferred until after his contract is up. He's only going to get paid $2 million a year on payroll for the next 10 years, which is like, I mean, great for me because now we can go out there and get a Yoshinobu Yamamoto, right? So I'm sure you're upset, Matt, because I'm sure you were probably thinking, like me, oh, we got Shohei, 700 mil. Okay, we're done. Right? Like we can't get anyone. There's no way. But lo and behold, Shohei being the guy that he is, the statement that he's making, he wants to win World Series. He wants to help recruit as many guys as he can. And he's putting his money where his mouth is, right? Like only taking 2 million. But by the way, I gotta say, ESPN's reporting he makes like upwards of $45 million from endorsements every year anyway. So he's already making like around 50 million a year just from endorsements. He don't need that contract money just yet, but he's gonna have it, once his contract is up. Um, that's honestly leading me to believe that the Dodgers are kind of the favorites to get Yamamoto. I know you probably don't want to hear that, but just from what I think, like logically, he wants to play with another Japanese, player, and Shohei is the guy they all look up to, right? Now they have the money to sign him. I hear he likes the West Coast, similar to Shohei, so we'll have to see. I'm hoping we get that Yoshinobu announcement to the Dodgers in the next week. Other than that, yeah, great weekend for my baseball team, and I'm excited. So
Well, I gotta say, yeah, as a Dodgers fan, you should be excited. But as a every other team's fan, that's a terrible thing for be terrible. Like that opens up a can of worms, I think. Just with the contract, like yeah, like I mean, you can defer money.
but
Guys have done it.
it's legal.
It is legal, yeah, but
It's not like they're
Matt,
going
like
around anything. Like
no,
it's all
and
stipulated in the
it
rules.
is in the rules, and I give them that. But this is just it just feels different, like with the amount of money on the contract,
Yeah.
there just I think there needs to be something fixed. Like there
Maybe
needs to
maybe it'll be regulated after this, but
well,
I mean now it's like
BFD, like what the hell is that gonna mean? But I think realistically that needs to change. I mean, this guy is, I don't even know what he does, honestly. He's the worst commissioner in sports. But you need to investigate this, not punish the Dodgers, but you need to make some kind of rule, some kind of cap on this deferred money. Because that's kind of ridiculous, honestly. Like, just
I mean
realistically,
I agree.
that's if you're not a Dodgers fan, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
But I will
I'm
say that he made it clear. The report came out. He told every team that he met with that he wanted to do this. So it's not like the Dodgers were the only ones, that knew this was coming. I'm sure they heard that they were even more excited. They're like, "What? You're gonna defer all of it until like so we can go get more guys?" So I guess yeah, the Dodgers just lucked out, and it's just good to be a Dodgers fan. I will say. But I gotta agree with you. I think something is gonna change because that just sets up, like you said, a can of worms for everyone moving forward, right? But you also gotta think. I will say, let me just say this, right? How many guys, Matt, are gonna turn down that much percent of their salary to be deferred until, you know, after they're done playing?
but I think it makes sense for him because he makes a lot of endorsement money.
Exactly. But
So it
that's what I'm saying. Like, how many guys realistically are gonna, you know, be able to say, nah, I won't let's say the next contract, right? I'm talking about 10 years, 500 million, something like that, right? Just as an example thrown out there. 10 years, 500 million, right? $50 million a year. How, do you really think like how many guys are going to be able to say, no, just pay me like $1.5 million of that 50 million you owe me this year because I make so much more outside of that. Like I don't think a lot of guys could be able to do that. I know I couldn't be able to do that. Yeah, you're gonna pay me $50 million when I'm in my 20s, or in 10 years from now when I'm like almost 40. Like, which one are you gonna pick, right? Um, I don't know. That's the only thing like counter argument I will say to that rule. But I do agree if it's gonna start becoming a trend, yeah, there's probably something that has to get done to put a cap
it
on it.
it definitely I think it's gonna be a trend because guys are getting paid. I don't know if anybody's gonna break Shohei's contract in terms of value,
Not for a while.
but are there guys that are gonna be getting? Juan Soto next year, right? He could probably see north of $500 million. Could he defer money? Like, I don't know.
But
Only time will tell.
does he get the advertisements that Shohei's gonna get? I'm sure
No.
he'll get more, right? Because now he's in New York, a little bit bigger market than San Diego. He'll make, in the millions, I would think, in advertisements. But is he gonna be making even 40, even 30, even $20 million in advertisements? Like that's I don't think so, right? So can you really tell yourself, as let's say it's Juan Soto, you're a 26-year-old, uh nah, don't pay me my 50 million now. Pay it to me in 10 years when I'm in my mid 30s. Like, is that gonna happen, Matt? I don't know. I don't know. I think it puts baseball in a tough spot, but I think they lucked out in the fact that it's Shohei. He makes so much, outside in his endorsements that's why I think it's not going to happen as much as you probably think it'll happen. So that's just my opinion. But I guess we'll have to see how it goes.
Mm. Well, you know what? 700 million, whatever. He's, let me show he's a good player, but he's not my cup of tea.
I
He's not
mean,
my cup of tea.
realistically, as ecstatic as I am, right? You pay 700 million for the two-way greatness on the field, right? And realistically, with him being, let's call him 30, he's pretty much 30, right? Well, he's what, 29? How many years are we gonna get prime Shohei on both sides of the ball? I think his hitting is gonna last a lot longer than his pitching.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah. I mean,
right?
it's right now, it's already on that trend.
Yeah. So, you know, even if we get 8, 7 years out of him of great hitting, which I think is possible, um, the pitching maybe 5 years in his prime. Maybe if I'm lucky, it's 5 years. So yeah, we'll kind of have to see how it goes, but I'm just banking on the fact that it's Shohei Ohtani and he takes care of his body. The Dodgers are going to treat him as such an investment, right? Not like the Angels, where it's like, hey, go pitch out there every single, every fifth day, go. Oh, you're a little bit sore. You want to play? You sure? Okay, yeah, go. Because we need to fill our seats. We need to fill the state. Like honestly, right? He was having all those ticky tack injuries throughout the season. He's still going out there playing. It's like oblique problems and all this stuff. Oh, he's still going out there to play. Oh, he's still going out there to hit. Dodgers, that ain't happening. They're gonna say, "Oh, did you stubbed your toe on like? Oh, sit out. No,
You
no,
stubbed your
don't
toe.
play. Don't play. Like, oh, I don't. I'm trying to think of like little inconvenience injuries.
Oh, you
Like,
got a strawberry on your
oh, you
knee.
scraped
Don't
your
play.
knee. You scraped your shin while you were sliding. That's like 2 weeks or one week out rest. But I mean that like the pitching wise at least because he's probably gonna hit. He's are gonna be the everyday DH this year, and we'll get to see him in that standpoint. But uh, yeah, I think I'm just
Okay.
excited. I'm just excited to see him in blue. I think he's gonna look good in blue. I'll get his jersey eventually. Um, but the World Series, we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna need more pieces for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my team too. And we're close,
Yeah.
but we're not there
Um,
yet. We're not
yeah.
there yet.
So let me just wrap up baseball real quick. Rodriguez to the D-backs, that's a big signing for them. I think that helps them out a lot. Diamondbacks, I think they'll be a good team again next year after that run to the World Series that they had. Um, I think they're going to regress a little bit just because it's the World Series hangover curse that all these teams seem to go through. But I think they'll still be a really good, fun, exciting team to watch. It's a good piece for them. And I don't know. I guess Rodriguez just hates the Dodgers because he just refuses to come to LA.
Yep.
There's Candelario to the Reds. I don't even know who that is. I'm not even gonna lie. So
Well, he's a third baseman. He's pretty sneaky, sneaky guy. A guy who was on the trade block last year. Yankees were rumored to get him, but for a team that's you could say on the rise in the Reds with the young talent they have, I think that's a pretty solid piece to add. Lefty bat, and with Jonathan India probably gone, traded, that's a good replacement in the lineup.
okay. And then our teams did a little bit of business, right? So you guys get Victor Gonzalez and Vivas for Trey Sweeney. So how's Trey Sweeney? Sounds like he's a pretty good prospect.
He's he was our number 8, but I don't think we're too high on him, which is why obviously we shipped him off to the Dodgers. But kind of the swap was Vivas and Sweeney, kind of similar prospects. I think Vivas is 1 year younger, but if you look at their numbers, Vivas actually has better numbers than Sweeney. So I'm hey, I'll take that. You got better numbers, a guy who's younger. Yeah, give me that. And basically, you're just throwing in Victor Gonzalez to us because you guys got to clear space for uh Shohei and Joe Kelly on the 40 man. So
Yeah.
I believe the Yankees had 35, 35 guys on the 40 man roster spot. So you have, a couple spots to fill. So lefty pitchers always come in handy in the bullpen. I don't know, Victor Gonzalez, right? He had some moments in the World Series run, but I think Matt Blake is gonna have to work some Matt Blake magic because I think he had a pretty down year
Yeah, he
last
did not
year.
have a good year.
Yeah, so he's gonna have to be a project, but you know, lefty pitcher. We basically get him for not free, but he's basically a throw in. So you know what, we'll take him. I think he has 3 years and an option under team control, so we can fix him, hopefully. But yeah,
Okay.
nothing gonna break the bank there.
Well, that was an exciting week of baseball stuff. Let's wrap that, close that, and we still got a couple more things to talk about. So college football, Heisman, Jayden Daniels, surprised? I don't know. I wasn't that surprised. I think it was a toss up. Honestly, I would have leaned Penix. I just think like he delivered in the big moments, undefeated against the tough schedule that he had to go against. I don't hate the Jaden Daniels pick because I think if you just watch him play, he has that flash and excitement and big plays and he has the numbers, has the stats, he can throw, he can run. So maybe player wise, I could argue, yeah, like individually, he's the most fun to watch. But I mean, Penix, their team is 13-0, right? Won the Pac-12 championship. You're in the CFP because of your play. Um, I would lean Penix there, but I don't hate the Daniels pick. I don't know how you felt.
Yeah, I think I mean, going into championship week, I thought Bo Nix was the favorite. If he beat Washington, I was like, that's his. That's gonna be his award. He lost, so I was like, yeah, it's gonna be Daniels. Because it's hard to argue his numbers. I think his numbers are
Like
pretty
50 total touchdowns?
yeah, like
Ridiculous.
box score wise, yeah, he has them or has Penix and Nix beat. But I just think this Heisman race was like I don't know, like I don't even who even
Just
won. Oh, Caleb.
underwhelming,
See,
maybe.
Caleb Williams won last year, but I think he was like head and shoulders. Like you couldn't even debate that. Like he was just that good that year. And guys like trying to think recently who won. Like Joe Burrow won one. Like even Marcus, right? You go back to Marcus's year, like unanimous. Like he was the winner. Even Jameis Winston's year, unanimous decision. Devontae Smith, right? His year was pretty absurd. Nobody really complained there. Bryce Young's uh, Heisman year, he was the handout. But like this one was just like, oh, is it Daniels? Is it Nix? Is it Penix? Like there was just three guys like kind of in that realm, and I really had no idea who was going to win, honestly, and that kind of just tells you like one how close it was, how good the quarterbacks are, but also it's like there wasn't really that guy that really separated himself. I still would have picked Daniels
That's
at the end
good
of the
though.
day, but
Leave a little bit of
yeah, I think so.
suspense in
I think
there.
so. But yeah, yeah, the votes are pretty close for with Penix and Daniels. But hey, at least Jordan Travis got fifth. Florida State, lucky number five,
Oh
just
man,
seems to be
just leave him
their
alone, man.
number.
Leave
Okay,
him
sorry,
alone.
sorry.
Those
At
poor
least
Florida
Jalen
State
Milrow got
fans.
sixth in the voting, so they beat Alabama. Sorry, I had to
Uh,
throw some shit at Florida
low
State
blow,
there.
low blow.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, Heisman done. Transfer portal going absolutely bonkers this year. Uh, we will have Hunter on hopefully next week, so we can talk the Shager one. That's a big one for us. But I think the bigger one we both got to talk about is Dylan Gabriel heading to Oregon. Did not see that one coming. Uh, I'm just curious to hear your reaction because I'm going to be cheering for the Ducks now next year, and I'm sure even more Hawaii people will be. So Dylan Gabriel had a good year at Oklahoma. Two tough losses, I think. It would have been so nice to see Oklahoma in the CFP, but um, DG, he can do it with his legs. He can do it with his arm. How are you feeling about this one?
Oh, I am loving this one because going into this, I was like, okay, Bo Nix, all right, senior, he's gonna go NFL. He's done at college. Oh, like this was our year. We had to win it this year because Ty Thompson's gonna be our quarterback. We already know the story if you're Oregon fans, right? The guy with so much hype, but just has not shown flashes on the field. So it's like, we're kind of stuck with him. We're gonna go back to mediocrity maybe for another 2, 3 years. No, no, no. Hold that thought because we're literally replacing Bo Nix with the lefty version of Bo Nix, is what I call Dylan Gabriel. Literally can do everything that Bo Nix did in this offense. It's just that he's left hand. That's literally the only difference. He can move, he can make all the throws as a college quarterback. I mean, it's just perfect fit, honestly. I mean, they're going to lose some weapons on the outside, but, Bucky Irvin's going pro. You got to fill in a couple offensive line pieces. Troy Franklin's going to leave. So, the big weapons are gone. But Tez Johnson, I believe, is coming back. Uh, Trayshawn Holden's coming back. So you still have weapons. And Oregon is a very complete team. They're going to be in the Big Ten. It's going to be tougher, but it is a 12-team playoff next year. So you make that top 12, you got a shot to win the Natty. And you cannot win the Natty without good quarterback play. And it's early, but I'm putting Dylan Gabriel as my favorite to win the Heisman next year. That's how confident I am in him and in the system and in the culture that Dan Lanning is building. So I am ecstatic because now we have to worry about that problem next year after Dylan Gabriel graduates. But we can push that off to next year because we can live in the moment because Dylan Gabriel gives us a chance to compete for a CFP title and at least be in the playoff next year with the 12 teams.
Okay, but yeah, so DG looks good. Um, see, Cord, Cam Ward, it's just going crazy. It's too much to honestly keep up with. So, okay,
Cam
they're all
Ward, Ohio
entering.
State,
They're all
probably.
entering. Do you think so? Yeah, probably.
I think
Um,
so.
well, they're all entering, but you know what? I'm just gonna wait because it's like too many things to keep up with. So let the chips fall where they are. Any other big ones we'll talk about, as the kind of college football offseason goes. Uh,
Well, there was one in the state of Hawaii.
well, yeah, I want to save the Shager one though for when we talk with Hunter.
You do?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I want to hear his opinion on it. So I'm gonna save the Shager one. I have an opinion. It's probably a little bit different from yours, honestly, but we'll see. So I'm saving that one so we can really get
Okay,
into
okay, we'll
to
save it.
all the Hawaii stuff. next week. So I'm saving that
Okay.
one just to kind of wrap up college football because yeah, this is a long pod already. Um, but let's finish off with some basketball, right? Really just want to talk about the in-season tournament. Yes, the Lakers won. Ooh, we get we got the
They get a
first cup.
banner.
Yeah. And all the guys get a bonus, so that's nice. But uh before we get into the Lakers, I just want to talk about the in-season tournament. I think Adam Silver, just the entire NBA office, I guess you could say, whoever helped think of this kind of in-season tourney, I just got to tip my cap to you guys because I think it was a success, right? Just drew more buzz, drew more hype. You saw the players competing at a higher level, more effort. You could tell it meant something to them, right? They're winning, all the big contract guys, they want their two ways, their younger guys to get that money, help them out. So just brought more competition, higher level of competition early in the season. And I think that was a really big um, selling point and just a good job for the NBA because you got to compete with football, right? It's college football, it's NFL, we got baseball, um, free agency, especially this year. So kudos to Adam Silver and the entire staff that helped think of this because it drew a lot of buzz, right? To help kind of compete with the media cycle that the rest of the sports teams are going through. So I just thought it was a really good idea, Matt. I'm curious to hear your opinion on the whole thing. Um, but yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think at first when they announced it, I was like, like I like the idea, but are they really gonna take it seriously? Because it is still regular season games, right? What if guys are hurt? They're not gonna push through it. It's too early in the season. But I think after seeing this year, and I think it was really important that the Lakers won too. And you get a guy like
Yeah,
LeBron.
LeBron
Like
won
I
it.
think that helps because it showed LeBron, I mean, they were trying to win it. They were trying to win it. And if LeBron and the oldest guy in the league is trying to play hard for this thing and make a statement, yeah, I think years from now, teams are gonna, follow suit and try to win it. And even Tyrese Halliburton, he was very clear. He was trying to go for it all, right? He was treating it as a true championship. So kudos to the players, for bringing it every night. But I think, if you look at it long term, obviously it's not the NBA finals, it's not the Larry O'Brien trophy, but it is good practice, I think. And LeBron did have a good point, right? A lot of guys in the Lakers, they never experienced, some of them not even experienced playoff basketball. So to get that feeling of like, yeah, you're popping champagne in the locker room, it's not the same. But to get that feeling, it's like I think players to get that exposure, to know what it takes to win a championship to some degree, that I think helps teams in the long run. And speaking from the Lakers perspective, this could help your team because Anthony Davis played like a possessed human being in that championship game. And if he can play
What?
big in big moments, like we see what they can do. He is so dominant. Yes, it was Miles Turner, but Miles Turner is still a quality big, but he just needs to do that against the Jokic's, right? Against Steph and the Warriors, KD's sons, right? But I think this boosts confidence for players if they can play well in these games, simulate a playoff environment, some kind of tournament. It'll pay off in the long run, I think. So I think it's good practice for the Lakers
That's a good
getting
way to
that
put it.
taste.
I kind of like that. But yeah, just I want that AD all the time, man. Look, 40 and 20,
Well, I don't think you
I'll
need
take
40.
it.
You don't need 40 and
20,
20, but
25 and
like
12. Yeah, give me
You
that
don't
consistently,
you just
please.
need that intent. Like he had that MJ, like,
That
in
look,
Mamba
yeah, I saw
mentality
it.
look.
I
Like
saw it.
that's what you need. It's not, yeah, he's not gonna score 40 points a night. Like that's not he's not gonna do that. But if he can bring that
23 and
intensity,
12.
yeah, if
I'll
he can dominate and just bring that fire, that's what's gonna take this team to the next level, I think. And I mean, I'm sure all of Laker Nation is saying the same thing. So
yeah.
because you know what LeBron's gonna do. And Austin Reeves has turned into a, I don't want to say superstar, but
He's
star.
that third guy. Him and D'Lo, I think, take turns being that third guy. Um, I think it's great. Right now with how this team is looking. We're still early, so they're still gonna figure things out, but feel much better about this team at this point this year than they did last year. I'll just leave it at that. So kudos to Rob putting together, this team to get the first ever NBA Cup. So we'll take it. Okay, Matt. Well, that'll wrap up our big topics. Got our few segments here we have to get to. Uh, let's get to your foolish fool, who you kind of brought up already.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier in the episode, and here it is. Our foolish fool, none other than my favorite receiver. Just kidding. Crossing my fingers on that one. AJ Brown, receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. You open your mouth, you talking trash to a veteran corner, and you get that smoke in that game. Yeah, learn your lesson, big boy. Don't talk smack to Gilly, because you're gonna make yourself look foolish like how you did on Sunday. I mean, Gilly just absolutely owned you that night. So anytime I can take a jab at the Eagles, I will, because I don't like the Eagles. So AJ Brown, you are the foolish fool of the week.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just say state of the 808. Guy I haven't really touched on too much, but Jelani Tavai. Haven't said his name too much, but he had a very, very active game against the Steelers. 14 tackles, 8 solo tackles. So
Jeez.
heavily, heavily involved in that one. Almost had, almost had a crucial offsides on special teams on a punt that would have been very, very bad because it would have given Pittsburgh a first down. But luckily, the refs called it on the center for looking up. I don't even think it was a penalty. But you know what? Bailed out. We'll take it. Giovanni Tavai, he is the state of the 808 tracker this week. So hats off to him for playing a great game.
All right.
Yeah, other than that, Matt, the drill. Give us our sports fact of the day to round us up.
All right. We are recording on December 11th. And, I was going to go with another Yankee fact, but I found this one today. Back in 2017, a guy by the name of Giancarlo Stanton was traded to the Yankees for Starlin Castro, Jose Devers, and Jorge Guzman. One of my least favorite trades of my time being alive with the Yankees. Nothing against Big G, but just the baby bomber era was so good in that 2017 season, and then just kind of regressed a little bit ever since then. But at least we got Juan Soto now. So yeah, we got to try to recover from this Stanton contract because it is eating us alive right now. But that's our sports fact of the day.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, it was a long pod. We had a lot to discuss. Big, big news just across the sports world. So, uh, thinking it's gonna settle down, but you never know, right? We still got a lot of free agents out there. Still got a lot of big games to be played, both sides. So, Matt, yeah, I'll be cheering for the Cowboys next week. Hopefully, it's good news for both of us. As long as you're happy, I'm gonna be happy. Even if we don't beat the Jets, it's gonna help us out a lot if the Bills lose. So, go Cowboys next week.
A Cowboys win, and a Yamamoto signing to the Yankees. That's what I need right
I'll
now.
take one of those. But yeah, let's
I'll take the Cowboys loss and the Yamamoto signing.
but yeah, we'll see how the week unfolds. Other than that, thank you everyone as usual for sticking with us, listening, and sharing your feedback with us. We really appreciate it. Um, Other than that, yeah, everyone stay safe, have a good week, and we'll catch you guys next week.